Hi, Facebook family and friends. Suzette Martinez Valderas here, your Assemblywoman elect. I think that's maybe the third or fourth time I've used that term, and it's a little surreal, but just such an exciting time for me, for my team. As everyone should be aware by now, are officially a week and a day away or outside of our 2020 election. And we had a magnificent win. And I say we because while my name was on the ballot, this was truly a team effort. And I have just met so many amazing people along this journey and along this way. And I'm so honored and privileged that the voters voted for me, Suzette Martinez Valderas, to be your next Assemblywoman here in the 38th Assembly District. Today is a really important day for our country and for all of us to say thank you to the brave men and women who have served our country, some who have sacrificed all. And as I mentioned, I am so thankful for our men and women in uniform who have served in our U.S. military. But they have actually also been a part of my campaign and a part of helping me to represent and to be elected to represent our community. And two of those people that I met along this amazing journey were some amazing veterans. They happen to also be a married couple with an amazing story. And I just thought that it would be appropriate, one, for us to thank them here on our virtual Facebook Live, two, to hear a little bit about their story. So I'm going to bring on Delilah and Thomas Minter. Hi, it's so great
Hi.
to
Hello.
Thank you so much for your service, not just for volunteering on my campaign, which has been an immense honor, but for your service to our country. And you two kind of have, I resonate with you because of your story and your background, but you really have an amazing story. And Delilah and Thomas, we met a couple of months ago now, I guess, at the law enforcement rally in Simi Valley. And you both have three kids. You're conservatives, and you are teachers, and you're active in the community. But before you were all of those things, and before you were parents, you enlisted in the United States Navy, and you enlisted for a particular reason, and that was 9/11. So can you tell me both a little bit, or let's start with Delilah, kind of who you are, where you grew up, and how 9/11 impacted you?
Thank you. Yes, it was a pleasure to, get to know you, and, it was our honor to help you with your, campaign. But as Suzette said, my name is Delilah, and I grew up in Los Angeles, born and raised. And 9/11 really was like the turner for me, because I wasn't sure after high school what I wanted to do. And I was thinking about going to college. And then a year before I graduated, 9/11 happened. And, my father is also a service member in the Army, And so that just felt like the right thing to do, to give back, because I felt threatened. I felt scared. I felt like, oh my God, what can I do with, giving back to our country that, has given so much in return. So that was a big deal breaker for me after 9/11 to join the Navy. And I like the airplane, so I was just like, I want to do that.
So we'll talk a little bit about what you did in the Navy, but Thomas, your story isn't, too unsimilar. Why did where are you from? Tell us a little bit about yourself and why you joined the Navy.
Well, thank you for having us, by the way, and congratulations
Thank you.
for your win. So I actually was already thinking about going to the military through high school, but it was secondary to going to college for football. So I kind of made a decision my senior year to pursue the military over football in college. So I ended up enlisting 2 weeks. Oh, actually enlisted when I turned 18, and I left to boot camp 2 weeks after I graduated high school. 9/11 really affected me and my family. We were pissed. We were really upset, and we wanted to protect this country that we have. We love it, we value it. We think we have the best country in the world, and we just wanted to do whatever we could to try to, ensure that we continue to have that. So that's pretty much what made me want to go in and do, the time that I did.
So, what did you two do in the Navy, and how did you meet? Let's talk about the meet cute.
Well, I enlisted as an airman, so basically working with Lockheed S3 Vikings, which is like anti-submarine and refueling airplanes, and basically I maintenance them and service them and all that stuff. But we actually met in boot camp right before I was going into school to train for as an airman.
And what was your first thought, Thomas? What did you do in the Navy, and what was your first thought when you met Delilah?
So I was a hospital corpsman. I ended up doing 11 years, various different units. But my first thought when I met her, I thought she was probably the most beautiful woman I've ever seen. And I was like, I wanted to get to know her. I was really surprised because I've been in boot camp and not everybody looks the greatest, and I was really like, wow. So, we started talking in boot camp, well, after boot camp, while she was in school in Florida. We were talking, and she ended up going to Japan for a year, and we were just talking while I was doing all my training. And then we ended up getting stationed in San Diego when I was training down there. And pretty much we finally got to start dating, I guess you would call it, because we didn't really have an opportunity to date. And actually 3 months after we were dating, we ended up getting married, and we've been together almost 17 years now.
Wow, congratulations. That's such, an amazing story to meet somebody, kind of at the beginning of your professional career where that foundation is being set. But not just any career, a career with our United States military and serving our country. So what would you say is the biggest thing you learned while serving our country? And what do you want to say? Because there's an opportunity for you to, we always, before us is always somebody who paves the path. And there have been military men and women that served before you that helped pave the road and inspired us and inspired you. So what would you say to those on Veterans Day as well?
It's definitely very humbling, experience, especially when you're taken out of your comfort zone, not knowing whether, what's going to happen. Every day changes. At that time, we were at a time of war, so it was very hectic, but definitely it gives you a sense of pride. I came out learning, like, if you want something, you got to work really hard for it. The sense of duty, and just the love for your country. That's really what I got from it.
Okay. How about you?
So basically what I got from it was the true understanding of sacrifice of the ones that have come before us, that have provided us with the liberties and the freedoms that we have. And then the sacrifice that I had to give in order to ensure that those continue. There was many months where I wasn't home and in a dark place in the world, and it's you really have to love and appreciate what you have to get you through that. And like I said before, I believe we have the best country in the world, and we have the freedoms that a lot of places around the world don't have. And I think people take that for granted, and they're unwilling to sacrifice for it. But I have nothing but love and appreciation for those who came before us and set the tone, and I'm proud to stand among them in a sense. So.
Well, again, thank you so much for your service from the bottom of my heart. Our veteran community in Simi Valley and Santa Clarita and the 38th Assembly District is so vital and important. We have a pretty large military population in the 38th Assembly District. And, there are issues that cross generations in the veteran community. And those issues run from homelessness to looking at a high unemployment rate, from needing greater access to healthcare because of chemicals veterans have been exposed to, or mental health problems they may have after leaving the military, or even while serving in the military. What would you say in our community is, what advice would you give me, and what would you like me to accomplish as your voice and your representative in Sacramento?
What I would say to that is veterans do go through a lot of different processes when they get out, and sometimes it's very difficult to kind of conversate or understand where they're coming from. One of the biggest things that I felt was a disconnect from the general public. I felt like they didn't understand what it was that we had gone through, and there was no way that they could really hear or listen to what my complaints were, in a sense. So you have been very welcoming and attentive to anything that we've ever said to you. And, that's the biggest advice I can give you, is just listen to where they're coming from, and realize it's from a place of sincerity. They truly have given up a piece of them for this country. And, they deserve all the fight that they can get, and they deserve everybody behind them. I hate to say it, but they seem to have, I believe they have a first place in line in a lot of senses.
Absolutely.
So, they're definitely worth it. I mean, again, these people are the ones that have demonstrated the ability to look out for others above themselves. And that is a very rare quality we have in our community, but it's a very valuable commodity. So, but you've been nothing but welcoming and understanding and compassionate, and just keep doing that. That's really what's going to
reach out,
because you have a sincerity to you that we connected with. And that's a big thing that veterans don't necessarily do. We don't feel like that sincerity is there, but with you, it really is.
Well, thank you so much. It's my honor just to listen. I mean, you both and so many others in our community have sacrificed everything, and we've had members of the military that have died serving our country, and I am genuinely thankful. What advice would you give to somebody who's thinking about enlisting? I mean, about what process they should think about in making that decision, and what advice you might give them for those who are just entering and maybe going through boot camp pretty soon here.
Well, for young ladies, I would definitely recommend to have an idea of what they want to do as far as their jobs. Definitely understand that there's going to be challenging, and they're going to be out of their comfort zone, but it's okay to embrace everything, because the whole experience as a whole is it's remarkable. You go in as a civilian, coming out more as a cohesive unit, understanding you're not an individual, you're a group, and this is your family. So definitely it's very rewarding, but just appreciate all the little challenges that you face, and really know what kind of job you want to do, because they're very diverse.
Yeah. What I would say is take everything the recruiter says with a grain of salt. I loved my recruiter, but some of the things he told me, I was kind of like, wait, this is not happening. But, to be honest, I think it was the best decision that I made in my life. One of the many, obviously marrying this woman is the other. But just know what you really want to do your research, talk to your recruiter, and realize that if it's something you really want, you got to fight for it. I mean, it took me 3 years or so to get to where I wanted to be in terms of the career path. And it took a lot of training and a lot of dedication, a lot of sacrifice and time. So just don't give up. Keep willing yourself forward. And, you're going to meet a lot of great people from all around the United States and make a lot of, very diverse friends. And, that's a great thing. I have a lot of great friends with a lot of back experiences, and I love them. They made me a better person for it.
So I was 10 years old, and I spent the summer in Colorado Springs with my uncle, who was a commander in the Air Force. And man, did he whip me into shape, and my aunt whipped me into shape that summer. I came home having my bed made every morning, doing my own laundry, dishes. I understood what discipline really was for the first time. As parents, has your military service impacted the way you parent? And do your kids realize it?
I think so. Really, like, we run everything on a schedule kind of routine. We like routines, and we're like, hey, it's very almost military based. And we like that because it's structured. And kids need structure. So it's just sometimes we laugh about it. We're like, wow, are we those kind of parents? Part of us, this is who we are. And the military is always going to be a part of our family and who we are.
I mean, we haven't got to the point where if they don't make their bed, we're throwing their sheets and their mattress out in the hallway. We don't do that yet, but definitely we tell them to pay attention to detail, take pride in what they do. Have a schedule, stick to your schedule, have a plan. Stick to the plan. A lot of the things that we learn in the military that make us, the best military force in the world are what we're trying to instill in our kids. Staying focused, staying on task, getting the work done. Doing things you don't want to do, when you don't feel like doing them. But there's a really great YouTube video out there with a Navy SEAL admiral about the importance of making your bed first thing in the morning. Mm-hmm. And, that's something I've shown my kids several times, and it really puts it into perspective. If you have a bad day, at least you get to come home to a nice made bed, so it really is kind of a design about how we raise our children and stuff. Again, we want to, raise them to be successful, productive adults and have understanding of what the world is. So it's a good way to start.
And I don't think enough people talk about the family impact on those who are in military service. So you were out of service once you had children. Is that correct?
Yes, that was my last year when I had my eldest. And then after that, I was definitely out, and it was very different.
Right. But so it's a family, it impacts a family though, because whether it was your parents who are worried and waiting and, not hearing from you, you're, who knows where sometimes, or if you didn't have children, but it really affects the family. And it's not simply are those in service who have sworn service to our country that are impacted, but families, parents, children. It is a lifestyle that is a true sacrifice. And I'm so thankful for our military families at home and abroad.
Yeah, I can definitely attest to that. It's very challenging, especially when the kids are always asking where their father is and, when they're going to come back, when can I talk to them? It's very, it's very emotional. It's very challenging. And sometimes it's just very overwhelming. And you're like, what are we doing? But they don't see a lot of people don't see that side, and the kids definitely missed him a lot. And thankfully in his last, year, he was able to communicate with him more frequently, because that's when the military started establishing more communication through webcams and stuff like that. But they definitely feel the impact, Yeah,
there was about 5 years there. I was home less than 60 days out of every year. I'd be gone for 2-3 weeks, come home for a weekend or a week, and then I'd have to be gone again. So, and then add deployments into that. So, yeah, it was definitely tough for me being gone. She would, I complain, but, I come home and then I see she's got 3 kids basically in the house, and they're all small, running around, and I'm like, okay, I'd rather go on deployment than deal with this. But it's sacrifices on both ends. The kids. I'm glad that I've been able to really connect with them, and we've been really able to bond. We kind of laugh at this whole shutdown as it's not a burden, it's a blessing. We've been able to be home with our kids a lot more than we ever have. So, we kind of view that as, a very kind of a blessing in disguise in a sense. And so we're able to really, mend relationships and build something from that.
Well, God bless you. And, for anyone who's listening right now, yes, thank our veterans today. Take time out to thank veterans, to thank their children, especially if they're, not home right now and they're abroad. Thank their children and encourage and uplift their children, because they are sacrificing too. They one day when they grow up, they may understand the sacrifice and why. But when you're just a kid, you don't understand why your dad's not home or your mom's not home for months and months at a time. So don't forget to thank the family and the kids. It's just so vital. Do you have any questions for me?
Let me see here. What's one of your first things you want to try to attack when you get up to Sacramento?
Yeah, so today I released a statement on Governor Newsom's proposal to again shut down our economy and businesses. And I think it's the wrong approach to take. And one of the reasons I think we have been put in this situation and we have so many businesses closed is because Newsom has essentially been given unlimited power and unchecked power through emergency powers that the state legislature gave him back in March. And one of the first things I think that the state legislature needs to do, and I will vote for when I get in, is empowering the legislature to actually take back their role and responsibility. We are the legislative body that creates policy. There is checks and balances that exist in co-equal branches of government. That's the way our nation was set up. That's the way our state has been set up. And that's not what we're operating under. So that's one of the first things that I want to work on to get the legislature's power back in the state assembly and the state senate, and then tackle supporting small business and, passing legislation and looking at regulation that make it hard to do business, open business. We need to get people back to work. We need to get kids back to school. I don't think I think that we can get children back to in-person learning safely. And it's imperative because of the learning loss that is occurring for our children. And we are really, what I look at is failing a generation in education. So those are two of the priorities I would love to work on. I get sworn in officially on December 7th, and I should I know it's coming up quite. We're going to do here in the district too. The swearing in is going to look very different than it has in years past. It's very limited. I think I only get to bring 4 family members, and they have to be family. And we're doing it in a big stadium in Sacramento, not on the assembly floor. We will be socially distanced. But we'll also do something here socially distanced in the district, because I've had so many people that have been a part of getting me to this, to this position of being our assemblywoman here in the 38th Assembly District. And I would love to share that moment and that swearing in with our community. So I hope you two can come out. I'll make sure that you guys get the details on that. Yeah, but that's just, and then I'll be, hopefully after swearing in, be given some committees. And, I joke that all of the jackets that I buy are 3/4 sleeves so that my sleeves are already rolled up and I'm ready to get to work.
Nice.
So.
Nice.
There you go. I think you got a lot of work ahead of you, but you got the right attitude and spirit for it. So, you have the support of the community. Obviously, you got voted for, and we need to take back, what this country is really founded on, and protect the liberties and the values that we have. Like you said, we have this branch of government that's just operating independent, and without any checks or balances. And it's very important to get that back under control, reasonably and stuff. So, we have all the faith in the world in you, and we're behind you.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for joining me. We're going to be in touch again soon to my favorite Navy veteran couple in the 38th.
All right.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you.
So everyone, as on the campaign trail, I am committed to connecting with everyone virtually, especially as we continue to navigate this COVID world that isn't going to be going away. As I mentioned, our governor wants to shut down businesses again. And while I think that's the wrong step, it is going to be my mission, my commitment, or my promise to stay as connected with our community and district as possible. So I will continue to be doing these virtual Facebook Lives, talking with people throughout our community. But also, I just want to encourage, and we'll have a set schedule on when we're doing these. We'll do them at least twice a month. But I want to encourage you to be involved, to join me on these lives, to ask questions, to give me your guidance. I am here to represent our community's voice. And while I will be the one speaking in the state assembly, I need to hear from you in order to get our message across. So I encourage you to use this platform to help me get your questions, your concerns, and your guidance so I can truly reflect and represent everyone's voice. So thanks so much for tuning in. We'll post these in advance so that you know when I'm going to be live, and you can submit your questions. You can always visit my website at SuzetteValladares.com to send me emails or questions as well. And I'm sure that soon we will have an assembly official assembly website up as well, where we will be 100% behind and on the ground supporting getting constituent services up and running, because we don't want there to be any delay in helping those in the 38th Assembly District with the resources and with the state agencies across our district. So thanks, you guys. I'll be in touch soon.